Hello everyone, a warm welcome. Myself, Krishna Arsha, third year physiotherapy student from Sardar Patel University. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Pradyot K. Koila, Movement Master Academy and Global Health Association for giving me this opportunity. So today's my topic is stroke and its physiotherapy management. Before starting my topic, I would like to tell one thing that start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. So, without wasting much time, let's start. In this presentation, I will be covering what is stroke and what are its contents. Now, stroke is also known as cerebrovascular accident. These are the contents which I will be covering. That is introduction, epidemiology, etiology, risk factors, signs and symptoms, classification, stages of recovery, impairments, test, measures and imaging, recovery and prognosis, PT assessment and PT management, PT interventions and rehab, new rehab interventions. Now, let's start with the introduction. So, what is stroke? Stroke is an acute onset of neurological dysfunction due to an abnormality in circulation with resultant signs and symptoms which corresponds to involvement of focal areas of the brain. According to WHO, it is sudden onset of neurological deficits due to an abnormality in cerebral circulation with the signs and symptoms lasting for more than 24 hours or longer. Epidemiology. Stroke is the third leading cause of death. Incidence is 1.25 times greater for males than in females. It is most seen in adults. Etiology. So these are some causes of stroke, that is atherosclerosis, cerebral thrombosis, cerebral embolus. All together is known as atherothromboembolism. Hemorrhage, that are intracranial and subarachnoid, arterial aneurysms, arteriovenous malformations, hematological disorders, and other rare causes which includes infective endocarditis and HIV infections, tumors, migraine, chronic meningitis, inflammatory bowel disease, hypoglycemia, snake bite, and fat embolism. Risk factors. So these are some risk factors. They are classified into two, that are non-modifiable and modifiable. So non-modifiable risk factors are aging and gender, positive family history, heart disease, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, peripheral arterial disease, blood pathology, hyperlipidemia, transient ischemic attack, that is TIA, and some modifiable risk factors that are smoking, obesity, lack of physical exercise and sedentary lifestyle, diet and alcohol consumption, oral contraceptives, infections, and psychological factors. Now, signs and symptoms of stroke. So these are some warning signs that are sudden numbness of weakness of face, arm and leg, sudden confusion, trouble speaking or understanding, blurring of vision, sudden onset of dizziness, loss of balance or coordination, severe headache with no known cause, lack of consciousness, and some less important signs are nausea, fever, viral illness. So this is a picture in which it shows that a stroke on the brain's right side can cause paralysis on the left side of the body, and a stroke on the brain's left side can cause paralysis on the right side of the body. And these are some impairments which are caused. In right side, it causes vision problems, quick inquisitive behavior changes, and memory loss. On left side, it causes speech language problems, slow cautions behavior changes, and memory loss. And in body, paralyzed right side hemiplegia, left sided neglected, spatial perceptual deficit, tends to deny or minimize problems, rapid performance, short attention spans on right side, and on left side, paralyzed right side hemiplegia, impaired speech and language, impaired right and left discrimination, slow performance, aware of deficits, etc. Now, classification. Depending on the cause, depending on the severity, depending on the duration, and depending on the symptoms, stroke is classified. Now, depending on the cause, there are two types of stroke, that is hemorrhagic stroke and ischemic stroke. Depending on the severity, there are three types of stroke, that is mild, moderate, and severe. Mild is for 1 week, moderate is for 3 to 6 months. Severe, there is no complete recovery, 1 year or more. Now, depending on the duration, there are three types: acute, subacute, and chronic. Acute is of 1 week, subacute is 3 to 12 months, and chronic is more than 12 months. Now, depending upon the symptoms, there are 5 types, that is MCS syndrome, ACS syndrome, PCS syndrome, and lacunar syndrome, and also vertebro-basilar artery syndrome. So this is a picture of blood supply of brain, in which there is a circle of Willis, and in stroke this circle of Willis is affected. Circulation is affected of medial cerebral artery. It causes medial cerebral artery syndrome. Circulation of anterior cerebral artery causes anterior cerebral artery syndrome, and the posterior cerebral artery causes posterior artery syndrome. So these are the pictures of two types of stroke, that is hemorrhagic and ischemic. In ischemic, there is blood clots. It stops the flow of blood to an area of the brain, and in hemorrhagic, blood leaks into the brain tissues. Now, stages of recovery. There are 6 stages of recovery, that is first stage, period of flaccidity, immediately following acute episode. In this, no movement of limbs occur. Second, basic of limb synergies or some of their associate reactions. In this stage, spasticity begins to develop. There is minimum voluntary movement. Stage 3, gains voluntary control of movement, although full range of motion is not there in the patient. Spasticity increases in this stage. Stage 4, some movement combination that do not follow the synergies are mastered first by the patient and then with difficulty and later aids. Spasticity decreases. Stage 5, more difficult movement are learned. Spasticity decreases. Stage 6, joint range of motion is present, coordination normal, and spasticity disappears. Now these are the impairments. There are two types of impairments, that is primary impairments and indirect impairments. Primary impairments include altered sensation, vision, tone, coordination, motor programming, weakness of muscles, abnormal reflexes, synergies, postural control and balance, perception and cognition, emotional status, bladder and bowel dysfunctions, dysarthria, that is difficulty in speaking, dysphagia, difficulty in swallowing, and aphasia. Indirect impairments include musculoskeletal changes, neurological signs like seizures and death, DVT, that is deep vein thrombosis, integumentary, that is skin problems, and cardiac and pulmonary functions. In cardiac, coronary artery diseases, exercise tolerance decreases, and in pulmonary function, decreased vital capacity and decreased lung volume. Now, these are some tests, measures, and imaging to be done in the stroke. First, urine analysis. Second, CBC count. Third, blood sugar level, blood cholesterol level and lipid levels. Fourth, cardiac evaluation and lumbar puncture. Imaging includes CT scan, MRI and cerebral angiography. Now, recovery and prognosis. There is a myth that recovery stops at 3 months after stroke, but it's actually not. The fact is, physiotherapy is most beneficial when you start early, but it can help recovery from stroke months and even years later. So, in recovery state, it is fastest in 1 week after onset. Neurological and functional recovery in 1 month. It continues to make measurable functional gains for months or years. Late recovery of function is also seen in patients who undergo extensive functional training. It also depends upon the severity, type, intensity of stroke and also on the age of the patient. So it does not matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop. So now this is the physiotherapy assessment and management. Assessment includes history taking, in that medical history, surgical history, past history, etc. All histories of the patient are to be taken. In observation, we look into the gait, locomotion, posture, etc. Vitals, that are BP, heart rate, etc. needs to be done. Pain, in that pain scale, that is VAS scale and NPRS scale. Cranial nerve integrities and other reflexes. Attention and cognition by MMSE, that is Mini-Mental Status Examination Scale, and GCS, that is Glasgow Coma Scale. Joint integrity and mobility by checking range of motion, motor function and tone assessment by modified Ashworth scale. Posture and balance using Berg balance scale on posture and gait examination. Functional assessment includes FIM scale, that is Functional Independent Measure Scale, and Barthel Index. Management includes, it is divided into two, that is acute stage and post-acute stage. In acute state, it includes positioning strategies, that is sitting to supine, supine to sit, sit to stand, stand to sit, rolling, bridging, etc. Improves breathing and circulation by doing breathing exercises, chest expansion, and by giving postural drainage. Prevent pressure sores by giving water bear, air bear, etc., and by changing positions. Prevent from deconditioning, that is early mobilization in bed, pelvic bridging, and by doing movements of limb. In post-acute stage, 5 days a week, minimum of 3 hours of active rehabilitation per day, and intensive rehabilitation if vitals are stable. Now, this is a scale which are going to be assessed, that is NIHSS, National Institute of Health Stroke Scale. In this scale, we have to ask the patient some questions and we have to score. The scorings is from 0 to 42. If the score is 0, it means there is no stroke. Score 1 to 4 means minor stroke. Score 5 to 15, moderate stroke. Score 15 to 20, moderate to severe stroke, and score 21 to 42, severe stroke. So as I have said earlier, we have to give positional exercises and positional strategies. So these are some positions for people affected by stroke, that is lying on affected side, sitting up in bed, lying on back, etc. The careful positioning and placement of pillows can be used to achieve safe and comfortable postures. Affected stroke side is in blue. Pictures do not depict back. These positioning suggestions apply after 72 hours of having a stroke. So these are the physiotherapy interventions or rehab protocol which we have to use. In that, first picture shows stroke rehabilitation exercises. That fine motor, stretches, strengthening, coordination, balance, and weight bearing. And on the other side, it is of physiotherapy point of view, stroke overall rehabilitation, in which there is fitness training, hand and arm therapies, gait training, pain therapy, repetitive task training, self-care, CIMT, strength training, walking therapies, balance exercises, orthosis, electrical stimulation, psychological consultation, and speech therapies. So these are the some new techniques, new physiotherapy rehabilitation interventions which we are using. That is partial body weight supported treadmill training, BWSTT, pedaling, biofeedback, and mirror box therapy, neuromuscular electrical stimulation, that is NMES, constraint induced muscle training, that is CIMT, robotic assisted therapeutic exercises, and virtual rehab. Now, first figure shows mirror box therapy, in which the mirror is placed and the patient is asked to do the movement and then look into the mirror and then see that if the movement is going perfectly or not. The other picture is showing virtual rehab, and the third picture is showing the robotic training. Conclusion: application of physical exercises, newer modalities, pharmacological, surgical, cortical brain stimulation, and robotics is now under clinical investigation. So, before ending my presentation, I would like to tell one thing, that your body can stand almost anything, but it's your brain that you have to convince. So, taking a home message, then start thinking about wellness and not about illness. Thank you.